Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
I'm Nella, and I'm about to tell you a thing about the difference between expressways and parkways.
Woohoo! A thing that I didn't know until today. Dear listeners.
Wait, shortly, imminently. We will have that piece of trivia for you.
Don't make this a pop quiz for me. I know you just told me the information. I may not, in fact, be able to reiterate it again.
I mean,
okay.
Look, we all have Sieve brain. It's just, it goes in one ear and then just, gets disseminated throughout the rest of time and space. No one knows.
Now,
where
where's
it
that
goes.
Fringe episode? The Sieve brain episode.
Sieve brain. There's your title of the episode, just Sieve brain in all caps with 3 exclamation marks. Well, friends, for this episode of BachPod, we watched Fringe Season 3, episodes 4 through 6. And they were a real wild ride, man. There was a lot happened.
I really like this run of episodes. I do.
Good news, everyone. Newton's finally dead.
Yes. He didn't literally die in a fire, but they already gave that to us once. So I guess it would be over generous of them to give it to us again.
I'll take the weird suicide, remember those mint strips they used to sell, like Listerine mint strips?
Yes.
Except looking almost a little bit like a computer chip, but not. Mm-hmm. I'll take death by that. I'll take it. I'll allow it.
With the mercury just pouring out of his ear.
Yep.
Just the one ear, too, which I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why.
Well, because he's lying on his side, so it's all coming. Gravity's at work.
Of course, he couldn't not get in. He couldn't resist getting in one last dig. But we'll get there. We're not there yet.
I mean, we could.
I don't even know where to begin.
Would you like to go?
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, these episodes were just so much happened, and I actually really like this run of episodes. I feel like we've settled in to the alternate reality, and we figured out the characters and who we like and who we don't like.
Yeah, I think this run of episodes really made Nella be like, wow, Link, damn.
I'm not digging him.
Are you fine? Are you approaching my side of the
I mean, look, I didn't care about him to begin with, but the more he goes on, I'm just like, man, you're trying too hard. I don't like you.
I really don't like him. And I feel like you are just slowly edging there, and at some point you're just going to join me in the hate Link club.
He's like the mirror universe version of Ben from Parks and Rec. I don't like him.
Ooh.
Oh. Them's fighting words. We can't debate Ben from Parks and Rec here. That's not what we're here for, Nella.
That's not what we're here for. We will get to Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec has its moment.
Look, Danielle.
Yes.
It's about the cones, okay?
It's all about the cones. Oh, the low cal zone. Should we grab lunch?
We can't. We can't. We could.
Bring us back on track, Joy.
We could, but we can't. Okay, so why
don't? Who doesn't have
the
a low cal zone on this show? It is Peter and Olivia on a date. And I will still never be happy when the episodes just choose to open with them on a date.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why.
All I can think is the minute Peter finds out the situation he's been put in, he's going to be judging her so hard. Like this whole discussion about, I don't know, you can't really judge a person. Like, oh, Peter, you will. You'll find it within you. You'll find the way. You'll get there.
You know, it did kind of irritate me in the second of these 3 episodes when he gets so close to that realization, and then the show just kind of drops it.
Yeah. Again, it's that whole thing of we have it with Patricia, and we're getting to her. Patricia, I mean. And the death of Van Horn, who turns out was a super soldier. So he had top clearance to all the Fringe nonsense. And there is that scene where his wife goes on about, how did I not know? But then the question of, well, maybe I did know, but, or that idea of maybe I did know, but I was just ignoring the red flags. Because how could you imagine an entire person being replaced? And now she has the excuse. How would she know? She's not getting this top secret Fringe material so that she's on the lookout for it. But like, Peter.
I know. That's my thought too. Because with Patricia, you're absolutely right. Like, how could she even comprehend the possibility that her husband has been replaced? Because she doesn't know about shapeshifters. But Peter knows about the entire alternate reality. He knows about the shapeshifters, and they have that entire conversation in the cafeteria.
And we've
where
already
he says,
seen it happen to Charlie. He knows how it can happen, and he knows how real it is. Like, I'm like, Peter, you're being real dumb right now. You are just not listening to those, whatever weird little like voice you had in your head that allowed you to survive places like Baghdad and all the dangerous stuff you used to do has gone flying out the window. And like a part of me feels like, can we really blame the hormones of love and infatuation on this?
I don't know.
Can we?
I mean, Nella did have a moment when we were watching whatever episode it is where she doesn't remember who Markham is. And like, Nella had a whole moment of like, man, Peter gets some and he becomes the dumbest man on the planet.
Right? It's like, did all of your smarts go out like in your masturbatory sessions of thinking about like, I'm on a date with her? Like, what's going on, dude?
Right. Ah, the scene with Markham. I was going to say he hasn't even gotten some yet, but actually by that episode he had gotten some.
By that episode he does.
In the cafeteria scene in the hospital, he had not gotten some yet.
Yes.
Their relationship was still approaching that level. You know, look, but I think that some of it is some of this has got to be on the writers too. Because to write Peter as saying, since you got back, it's like you're a completely different person, and just kind of have him shrug it off and never speak to it again, just seems strange to me.
Or just after he gets some, like he then ignores all the red flags because he's getting the thing he thinks he wants, is just, it's a gross choice that I feel the writers have made. But then again, like, we're also in this position of, like, Joy and I have been talking lately about that we seem to be having one too many men in our periphery whom are going through stuff, and we just look at them and it's just like, how can you so fundamentally not understand your wife? How did you miss the person you married? And is it just a guy thing?
I don't know. Or some people just have blinders on, you know?
It's weird.
It's so bizarre. You know, the fundamental building blocks of someone's personality. And we're staring at these people going, how did you miss these several personality traits? You know, like it would be one thing if it's like, oh, her sense of humor has changed. It's like, no.
Even that.
She's changed her wardrobe. Fine. She doesn't remember things when you've always kind of relied on her eidetic memory.
Yes.
No.
Olivia, here's a statement that doesn't make sense. Olivia is unburdened.
Yeah.
Like
he literally, you seem less burdened. What?
I mean, and the thing that bothers me about that in particular, like that one moment, is that when he met Folivia, that is the thing he said about her and how, like, this is the fundamental difference between the two of you. That, like, you're not as tight around the eyes. You don't have as much, like, you don't have as much weighing you down. And, like, this was the thing he noticed as being the difference between the two of them. And it will always bother me that this is the thing he's like, yeah, you just seem really chill all of a sudden. And it's like,
Peter!
My dude.
Don't get me wrong. I like it. The change is good, but it's different.
Yeah.
I can't.
I also don't understand a Fringe team that, like, if anybody starts even acting vaguely different, that you don't, like, prick their finger just to be sure.
It's like, remember when like Charlie and it was twins, and then afterwards he always checked if it was twins. Like, does no one check if it's a super soldier? Like, are we not checking?
Well, you know who
anymore?
does check? Charlie checks. Charlie checks. Because Charlie is that kind of person. And you know who I bet is also going to check, and I don't remember, in fact, whether she does. So not a spoiler. Nina.
I would put money on, please. No, it's not even a money thing, but I would give anything for Nina to be the one to be like, that's not Olivia Dunham. I don't know who that person is, but that is not Olivia.
I mean, my favorite thing is the way Nina stares at her.
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
Nina, so like this, and this is the scene, listeners, if you don't remember it or if you haven't seen the show, it's one of my favorite moments of like, Olivia is talking about like, you know, Walter is brand new as this like massive dynamic CEO.
This is faux Olivia who's talking.
Yes. Yeah. And faux Olivia, under the guise of being Olivia, basically says to Nina Sharp, like, you know, you guys go way back. Maybe you could talk to Walter. And Nina just kind of looks at her sideways and is just like, that's not like you. You're usually very straightforward with Walter. And like faux Olivia has to make it up and just like, well, you know.
Yeah. And I think, like, you know, character-wise or in terms of the narrative, it makes sense that faux Olivia is... I'm not faltering a little bit, I think. Because in that moment, she's getting super, super desperate because she knows that the team is creeping in a direction in their investigation that she does not want them to go. So she's trying to, like, gently nudge the pieces in the direction that she would like them to head.
And she's not getting the support she needs because Newton and her are doing the dick swinging thing of... of not actually keeping an eye on the purpose of the mission. Like Newton coming in hot with the, well, you don't understand this world. I've been here this whole time and you're the one in charge. And of course, Olivia being the one of like, I'm the one in charge. You've got to do what I say. And it's like they're not working together. So she doesn't have the support she needs. You know, she's making these big mistakes that at the moment are not being noticed, but it's the one misstep and she's done. And she's going to do something drastic, which is sleep with Peter.
That's all you get, listeners. You get my exasperated sigh.
Yeah. You know, soldiers from the alternate universe, Newton and Olivia, are going to destroy so many lives because they can't work together. Like, needlessly destroy lives because they can't work together. And that's just, I mean, I feel like, so I was talking before about like, it feels like the CIA, where it's like they build up this mystique about how powerful they are, about how clandestine, how they have fingers in every pie, and they, you know, they build this shadowy mystique to them. While also understanding that we need that shadowy mystique because actually we're kind of not good at this. Like, have you seen what we did to South America? We weren't helping. Nothing we've done has helped anyone, actually. It's
just a very hand wavy, you didn't see anything. Like,
yeah.
I imagine this is that meme of like what we think we look like, what we actually look like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, then we even get it in episode 5 where we find out actually the truth about the amber would probably cause like a massive just freak out in society because the people who are trapped in amber are actually in suspended animation. They're not dead.
They're not dead.
Yikes.
And again, with this show throwing endless trolley problems at us, if we remove all of the people from the amber, it messes up the structural integrity of the amber, and then the amber doesn't, in fact, close the breaches, which are, in and of themselves, also a lie.
Yeah.
This entire universe is just lies.
And I don't know if this is going to happen later on, but I think there's got to be somewhere down the line a character who these lies become too much. Because it's not lies for public safety, it's lies for public swear jar covering.
Right.
Because
that's
optics
true,
above all else.
Exactly. They're
Optics
dressing it
above all
up.
else.
They're dressing it up as public safety. Like, remember, you know, that conversation that Royals and Walternate have in the restaurant where they're thinking back to the old days when the breaches were so terrible that people were afraid to leave their homes. And the only solution was this miraculous amber that they can use to close up these breaches, you know? I don't know. I did enjoy Walternet's little speech there about the universe not recognizing good versus evil. It only recognizes balance versus imbalance. And he's trying to paint himself again as this hero of this universe. And I think that it's interesting that he has almost brainwashed his followers into thinking the same thing, because that you see that same thing in Olivia when she has that heart-to-heart with Peter at the end of these 3 episodes, where she's, they're standing outside of the excavation site, and she is cracking a little bit, I think, not aided by Newton constantly digging at her and causing her to doubt herself. But she tries to get Peter to understand her perspective, where she's like, just imagine if we had to save the universe we care about. Wouldn't you do anything, kill anyone, if it meant saving your universe?
Yeah.
And Peter still doesn't agree with her, and he still doesn't validate her. He's like, no, you know what? I'm going to hold out hope, and I still think there's a way to save both universes. And then he runs away.
It's a very Tony Stark move of like, I would just, like whatever the,
Yes.
if somebody asked you to pick up I would just, no. Like,
right. Exactly.
Why would
I would change
Exactly.
the parameters. I would change the system. I would change I'd break the rules. Like no.
I would cheat.
Yep.
I would lie, steal, and cheat to pass the Kobayashi Maru so that the rest of you.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the difference.
I don't believe in a no-win scenario.
Don't believe in a no-win scenario. I love it. I love that that's the difference between our core team
Yes.
and the people who come from the AU, who are
Yeah.
really just like so narrow-minded because they've been raised in this optics first, super structured society.
Well,
They also have been raised in a society where no jury would convict them. There's not going to be, a trial at the Hague for crimes against humanity, but we did it for the greater good.
the greater good. Yeah, no, the AU Fringe team is way more proactive in being like, well, there's going to be a tear in reality. Like, the numbers are skyrocketing. We have to amber right now. And like, yes, they've obviously done this before, so they know what to look for whenever a tear in the reality comes up. But it's like, we found the amber, and then it's like, I guess if it's broke, don't fix it, except everyone quote unquote knows that once you amber something, those people are presumed dead.
Yes.
And it's just
gone.
like, wouldn't you keep like our Fringe team would be like, okay, but this isn't a final solution. Like, we need to keep working on this problem.
Yes. Like, clearly there's a better way. Surely there's a way to save everyone.
Yeah.
They're just so optimistic. Like,
I feel
what if
like-
we lived in a world where no one had to die? And
Well,
I'm like, Peter,
obviously, the AU is good enough for government work.
That's exactly what it is. Oh no, it's the personification. It's not only optics above all else, but it's good enough for government work.
So if we were building this evil organization in the fate
Yes.
core system, the high aspect, the high concept would be optics above all else. And then I feel like the trouble would be good enough for government work, because I feel like that's how you would use it against them, because I feel like that's how you'd have the heroes win against them, by triggering good enough for government work.
Into it.
Because it always comes back to role playing.
it always comes back to role playing.
Always. Always.
I mean, there's 100%. Wait, can I just, because we talked about fate, the scene where it is Olivia, where Charlie, Olivia, and Link are inside of Matthew's house, and then Olivia goes, shh, and they run out before the bomb. My notes say, Olivia rolls notice. She succeeds.
She succeeds with style because everyone runs out. And what's your additional effect, Olivia? We all get out of there just in the nick of time and no one gets hurt.
Also, I take the opportunity to steal some pills off of a hospital shelf, which, can we discuss?
What are those pills?
What are those pills, Olivia? What are you doing?
I think okay, so my theory on these pills is that when she had her, quote, psychotic break, the doctors were putting her on this, like, psychosis medication, which I think we even talked about in the last episode, where it was just like, if you're talking to a therapist and you have a psychotic break that is this vast, don't you think some drugs would be involved? And my theory is that there were drugs involved and there were antipsychotic meds. And so she knows the name of this medication and she instead keeps refilling this prescription because she keeps seeing Peter. And she's just like, well, obviously I'm not 100%. And I'm just, while I was watching those episodes again, like, I kept remembering, you know, when we were talking about the, like, what if you talk to a therapist? Live. Like, and then it was just like, I can't talk to a therapist. What would I even say? I work for the FBI and I can't tell you anything about my job, you know? Like, and this is her way of coping, as it always was, where it was just like, I just roll with the punches.
Can I point out, though, that yes and no. I think in this specific situation, she happens to be in a universe where everyone acknowledges that the Fringe division exists and acknowledges the work they do. So in theory, there is a therapist in this universe who could work with her. Granted, she wouldn't tell that therapist she was seeing Peter, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, this
is shaky
shaky
on that one.
I think but this is what I mean. Like, I think Peter is so strongly connected to her actual, quote unquote, psychotic break of, like, Peter is the one she keeps remembering. She doesn't remember Rachel. She doesn't remember Ella until Peter reminds her of, like, hey, I know things about you because I am you. Like, I know I'm not here. I'm literally in your brain, but I know things about your life.
Right. And, like, if I know things and I'm in your brain, that means you know things.
Exactly. And, like, he is such a strong tether for her, I think, to what has been, like, what gaslighting has been pressed upon her, that she just keeps going, like, I still have this weird psychotic break and this is just leftover, and she keeps popping these pills. But I think it's hilarious because she pops the pills and then she keeps seeing him.
I know.
Like, it doesn't work.
It's not working. What if you stopped? And you know, by the end of the episode, she does in fact acknowledge what's happening, and I love that.
It would be funny if the pills were actually helping to reverse the enforced transplanted memories.
Ooh.
If only.
If only.
If only. I probably like imaginary Peter and her more than I should. Is that bad?
No.
You know.
Look, I love imaginary Peter because this is what Peter did for her over and over again. Like, he created context for a lot of the data that she was filtering through for these cases. He was the one who was like, well, you know, I used to have this friend who did this thing. And then she would be like, oh, that makes sense. And she would be able to figure it out easier. Like, imaginary Peter is just doing the job that Peter has done for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And I love him so much.
Imaginary Peter. I love him so much. It's like imaginary Peter is her equivalent of taking a pillow and putting your significant other's t-shirt on it and then curling up with it at night because your SO isn't there. I mean,
that's 100% what that is. 1,000%.
Oh, Liv. Meanwhile, Peter's on the other side just hanging out with this other Olivia. With her different hair and her different makeup. I mean, listen. I don't even...
Danielle warned us before we started recording. She was just like, I didn't like anything about Olivia in all these episodes. Absolutely nothing.
It's fine.
Let it out. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. I feel like I'm allowed to not like her.
Oh, no. Yeah. Look, she's messing with the OTP. Nobody likes somebody who messes with the OTP. That is this. Look, I've watched this happen in several other TV shows now, too, where I'm just like, wow. Like, I hate it whenever somebody is, like, pretending to be someone's SO. And, like, because of the nature of the kinds of shows I watch, there's a lot of, like, quote unquote body swap or, you know, like a glamour to make somebody look like somebody else. And it's so prevalent. And I'm just like, oh, do I hate it?
I have hated that trope since, like, the cartoon Underdog. And, like,
Deep cut.
So it was a dog. It was a cartoon Superman dog. It was like, but there was an episode. I remember this very vividly, where there was an episode where like there was a bad underdog pretending to be underdog, and everyone thought it was underdog, and I couldn't finish watching the episode because it just squicked me out too hard. The idea that people could believe you were doing something bad and evil when it wasn't you and you had no control over it.
Oh, yeah. That totally makes sense to me.
I just imagine the wee baby Nella being like, I can't, and like walking away from the TV.
No, I couldn't. I literally couldn't.
Your Hufflepuff was so strong.
It's not fair. He's not doing it.
You're getting
No
mad
one
at
will
the
believe him because he looks exactly like him.
You're getting mad at the wrong dog.
Underdog would never.
Why doesn't anyone understand that Underdog would never do such a thing?
This is why
I find it very frustrating.
This is why I used to watch those shows where inevitably one character would be sus about the imposter. And like, you know, this is why like I feel like Inspector Gadget also did this, where there was like an evil Inspector Gadget. And Penny was like, no. Like, just looks at her uncle sideways, and that's not like you. And then like gets really sus really quickly.
See, that's exactly what I need. All I want is someone in Olivia's life to notice that that's not her.
I know.
It messes with me so much that no one in her life.
Now, did I want Nina to just be like, j'accuse immediately? Yes. However,
but Nina's too smart for that.
Nina plays the slow game.
I mean,
Nina is very good at the long game.
Look how long it took us for her to admit, yeah, we were keeping them in cryogenic freezing down in the basement.
I'm like,
but aren't you glad we did?
You're welcome.
How long did it take her to admit that she did in fact know who all the Cortexiphan children were?
Right.
Oh, you mean that list that I actually do have? Sorry, YOLO.
Oh, that
list.
Right.
Nella, I really hope that comes through synced, because it was synced on my end.
But I also just love the stoner conversation we get to have between Nina and Walter.
Yes, Nina and Walter in the park smoking a joint because they each, quote, have a prescription is among my favorite things.
I would just like to tell you, coming back to Parks and Rec, actually. Because after that scene, I was like, this is like the Eagle One meme all over again. And Nina is the one. From now on, we'll be using code names. You can address me as Eagle One. Walter, codename. Been there, done that. Broyles is currently doing that. Dunham is It Happened Once in a Dream. Belly, codename. If I had to pick a dude, Peter is Eagle 2.
And then Peter just, oh, thank God.
It all comes back. That's actually perfect.
Right?
I spent way too much time determining exactly. Actually, it wasn't that much time. I knew exactly who everyone was in that meme. But the important thing is,
we cycled through, I think, only 2 of them twice because it was
I thought I Did It Once in a Dream was going to be Astrid, but I appreciate your choice.
it has to be Dunham.
I'll take it.
For a hot second, we were like, if it were a dude, we put Dunham in that position. And then it was like, no, it's Belly.
Yeah, because I feel like dude being like just anyone in general, if I had to pick a dude. That's how I'm twisting it in my own head. Anyway, no, but that's what that scene made me feel. Because again, Nina, the little black dress.
Little black dress. Fantastic.
My beautiful little black dress. And I just, oh man, I love that sequence so much because it's such a great, like, reminder of their relationship and their friendship. And like, even though, you know, like he's been away for all this time and they can do things like this still and they can like really connect like that. And especially now that he like, quote unquote, runs Massive Dynamic, like, you know, Nina still runs the company. Like,
Oh yeah.
He's just playing in the sandbox, the giant sandbox.
Oh my gosh, his meeting with the scientist.
Stoned off his gourd.
I love the fact, and thinking about it is definitely like, yes, he's the single shareholder, which that's not how companies work. But the fact that Nina is absolutely sitting there like, oh, you think shares is what makes a company? Bless. Bless.
When she literally has to direct him to the 7th floor, not in fact the 6th floor.
Yes.
And Peter just being like, you realize he's stoned off his gourd, right? And just the way she looks, it could either be, no, I didn't realize that, or I just thought that was Walter. Because who can
You with
say?
the red hair. It's black. I see red.
I see red. What does this have to do with brains? Why are you so naive in your view of blah, blah, blah?
Okay, well, now that we're on this, can we discuss Walter's description of brains? Because that really unfortunately was a description my food-obsessed brain could taste. But they gave the description before they told you what it was a description of, which I really enjoyed. So Walter is in the middle of a meeting that with a whole bunch of scientists for Massive Dynamic. And at some point he's saying, it's beautiful. It's somewhere between pudding and foie gras. And you think that he's going to be talking about food, but he's not. He's talking about brain matter. And yes, my unfortunate self tasted that and then understood what he was discussing.
Danielle, maybe that's the gray stuff.
Hey. It is delicious.
I'm just saying.
It sounded really good. It sounded really, really, really good. Oh, very upsetting. Joy,
we did it. We solved it. We solved the mystery of what the gray stuff was.
Your candy buttons came back in this episode, too.
I know! My candy buttons! I'm just like, of course he wanted candy buttons. I also love that Astrid was like, what do candy buttons have to do with anything? And then he very subtly is just like, those are for me.
Those are for me. There were a lot of really good Walter and Astrid moments, I think, in these few episodes. We got to see the two of them working together, I think, in a way that wasn't so much Walter just asking her for things. Mm-hmm. Like, we'd literally get to see Astrid ask Walter for a thing. Right?
Yes.
How have we ever seen that before? No. Literally, no.
No, I think their relationship has come a very long way. I love their relationship in season 3. It has this really warm connection between the two of them, and I think it just shows all the things that they've like survived. And like even Astrid says at one point of like, there was a time the old me would have been very grossed out by whatever you're doing right now, but no, I'm good with it.
And, my hackles are still up a little bit because I'm so used to their old relationship and we're right at the beginning of season 3. Like that scene where he hands her a sandwich and it turns out he really is just making her lunch.
I know.
Because he wants to help her with her case. Some tiny part of my brain was like, there's something in the sandwich.
Don't
there's
eat
something
it.
in the sandwich. There's something in the sandwich. There's something that he thinks is going to help you crack this case. It's LSD, but it wasn't. It really was just a delicious sandwich and some chips.
Yeah.
Walter!
And it helped.
He's evolving. And it helped.
Do not give non-consensual drugs. And he's learning.
He's learning.
He's learning. I think he did learn from that experience. And I think he genuinely cares about Astrid. And Astrid genuinely cares about him. And it's just like, yeah, he's super flawed, but he's trying and he's, doing what he can to and I think Astrid gets to see a side of Walter that a lot of like Olivia and Peter don't, because she spends so much time with him in the lab.
Yeah.
Look, I still want her to have her own agency way more than she actually does, but
I would like us to drop the he no longer he can't remember her name thing.
I know.
Yeah.
And I understand that's
great.
Brain damage, but I would like it.
We got him calling her Astrid once in these episodes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was the LSD, so. But Nella, he made her a sandwich.
He did make her a sandwich.
And there wasn't anything in it. Good job.
And there wasn't anything in it. I have to celebrate the small wins.
The bar
otherwise.
is so low.
So
good job. You didn't drug your assistant.
her.
Well, now we're in season 3 where, like, you know, like where Peter and Olivia having sex has the music overlaying it is so dramatic and downer because we all know it's not good.
Yep.
Yes.
Again, rug ripped out from under us. This was the ultimate monkey's paw.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well,
they gave us what we
warn you.
wanted, and it's not what we wanted. We did warn you. I think that we said within the warning that we were warning you, but there wasn't really a real way to warn you.
Yeah.
I feel like I said something like, they get together, but not in the way you want. And it's like, and that's all I can tell you without spoiling anything. I'm so sorry.
I would like to say that this is not them getting together.
It's not. It's not. I mean, like, look, eventually, yes, that does happen. But it, like, because of the things that happen in season 3, it's way more complicated than it ever needed to be. Because it's like, he has this entire relationship with an imposter.
And how terrible would it be?
He's gonna have to unpack his feelings about that because even though it's a lie, his feelings are real.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So that's gonna mess him up.
She invented.
If it doesn't mess him up, I'm gonna like get very upset at the writers because that would mess anyone up.
She invented a whole imaginary Peter to tether herself to sanity and reality. And he couldn't even be bothered to notice that that woman wasn't the one he fell in love with.
Yeah.
That she was wearing jeans.
Are the straights okay?
Look, I will hold on to the she was wearing jeans until the day I freaking die, okay?
Nella, I so wish that could be the name of this episode.
Are the straights okay? I know.
Do it, you coward. So I feel like in all this we haven't even talked about like the
cases,
what even happens in the
plot.
3 episodes outside of like the overarchingness. But yeah, I think there was a pretty good mix of like regular universe, AU universe, continuing of the plot, like an exploration of how messed up the AU universe is with the Amber episode, but it had that really gripping, like, emotional storyline of guilt and twins. Once again, twins.
Twins!
Twins.
It's always twins. I liked the twist. Did you predict the twist, Nella?
Joy, did I predict the twist? I don't remember.
You mean that they had switched before the Amber?
Yes. That it was Matthew who was trapped the entire time.
No, I think we were. I feel like we were too wrapped up in Olivia and like her team not believing how it was just like they switched. They switched.
So true.
You know?
Like, will no one stop questioning Olivia's sanity?
I know,
right?
It happens to her over and over and over again. And I think it happens way less to Olivia than it does to Olivia, which is irritating to me.
Yeah.
I think probably, though, Nella, you were also distracted by the Nixon Parkway, is my guess, because the Nixon Parkway did happen about 8 minutes into that episode.
Allegedly. Under my breath, I muttered, so I guess we didn't name it the FDR, because here's why. So she has to go to Brooklyn to this scene, and she shows up late, and Link, whom I do not like, makes a comment of, well, you should have taken the Nixon Parkway.
No. Mansplaining.
You got to learn not to take the Nixon Parkway, because I think
to take the Nixon Parkway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I guess
Whatever
it's always
it is.
backed up with traffic or whatever.
So
Link.
Here's some things we have. So it's a parkway. Great. All right. So here's how it works in the 5 boroughs. A parkway, technically, at least in this area, because it's got the hand of Robert Moses all over it, you have things like the Northern State Parkway and the Southern State Parkway. And those are like landscaped areas with low bridges so trucks can't go on them. Now, in the 5 boroughs, they're less landscape, but there are still things considered parkways in that trucks are not allowed on them. And the FDR Drive is one of them, which goes up and down the East River. And then There's others as well, but that's a big one. That it's a big truck no-no on that one. Even though it's not landscaped, it's got a beautiful view of the river. It's one of my favorite stretches to drive. But that's besides the point. So you have this difference between, and again, Danielle, this is the difference between a parkway and an expressway. And expressways are also like highways. They could be throughways. Like that's sort of the terminology used for them. So
parkways have landscaping, hence the park.
Kind of, but again, in the 5 boroughs, not necessarily the case if you're looking at the FDR, which is considered parkway
Fun
rules.
fact. Yeah. First place I drove above 60 miles an hour.
In New York at all?
The FDR...
or 40 miles an hour.
...is definitely one of those roads that at 3:30 in the morning, it is incredibly tempting to speed down, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
No, I gave the wrong 10th. Whatever you are allowed to drive in the streets of New York, what's that?
Well, now it's like 25 because of Vision Zero.
Okay. So FDR is the first place I drove above 25 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, because that, like, if you're
not It was very scary. I did not enjoy it.
Well, the FDR is it's harrowing, one, but that's why I love it. Anyway, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So then you have, like, the Grand Central Parkway, and you have the Jackie Robinson Parkway, and then you have things like the BQE, the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, where trucks are allowed, things like that. So when they say parkway, now Joy brain went to Jackie Robinson Parkway, which... wow, would that be really messed up if in this universe, instead of naming it the Jackie Robinson, you named it the Nixon? Wow, not cool, not cool show. However, I'm going to put money on that. It's the replacement of the FDR, because you're trying to get from Manhattan into Brooklyn, and the FDR does go. You can either take, you can get on the Queensboro from there. You can get on the Brooklyn. You can get on, all those East River bridges. You can even get on the Brooklyn Queens tunnel. The Brooklyn Manhattan tunnel. Now they call it the Carey, the Hugh L. Carey tunnel, I think is what we've renamed it.
Oh yeah, we did something. Do
that. Yeah. But like there are ways to get to Brooklyn if you're taking the FDR. Now here's my thing about calling it the Nixon Parkway, right? Because we already had this discussion of like, okay, so in this universe, JFK wasn't assassinated. Okay, so then did Lyndon B. Johnson not happen? We don't know on that one. Now, a part of me is suddenly like galaxy brain of like, are we saying that Nixon was assassinated in this universe before like Watergate could happen? I have a lot of questions about the presidency of Nixon, like for sure.
Right, especially since the parkway's named after him and he's on one of their coins.
Yeah. Now, I mean, JFK is on a coin. We name a lot of things after JFK because he got assassinated. Like him and his brother, the Triborough. We name it the RFK now. So
I think this theory totally holds water.
I think Nixon got assassinated in this universe before Watergate could happen.
So there's been a couple of theories on the internet as to like what happened, right? Like obviously if JFK doesn't get assassinated, different things happen in history. Nixon and JFK running against each other, like the speculative fiction of, Nixon, like what if Nixon had prepared better for those debates and like won in 1960? And, like, he's still not a great president, but, like, he's okay. And what if he's assassinated instead of Kennedy in 1963 is one of the theories I've seen. And it's, like, you kind of get it, like, because if Nixon is the president during I say this in quotes, like, the height of the civil rights movement. Like, what do you have and have not? Like, what would he be... where would he fall on that pillar? And like, would people still, essentially hold him accountable for the other things happening in the country at the time? I find it fascinating of like, what if Nixon was just like there and became memorialized just because he got shot?
Well, I mean, like, if there's one thing we learned from the musical Assassins, it's that, nothing scrubs a president's reputation faster than an assassination.
Just saying.
And there you go. There you go.
I mean, then you go down the rabbit hole of like, well, like, are we in a universe where it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald, where it was like the government conspiracy to kill the president because they didn't like what he was doing? Like, how far down this rabbit hole was it the mob? I don't know. What version of the assassination do we want for Nixon? I mean, I'm going to put money on the mob. I'm going to put money on that Nixon pissed off the mob, and that's why he was assassinated.
I mean, I feel like Nixon would have pissed off so many people. Like, had he gotten elected earlier, I just feel like that would have just been a thing that happened. Full stop. But anyway, yes. So there are many theories that float around. Again, one of the benefits of having Fringe be as old as it is, a lot of people watched it and go, huh,
Yeah. The people who've watched something frame by frame.
Yes.
And I just get to benefit from their hard work.
Mostly.
Now, beyond the twins, I think at the other important piece at the end of this episode is when Walternate and Brendan, who the Brendan in this universe has literally no sense of humor.
No, he's such a stick. He's such an evil stick.
When Olivia tries to make that joke at the beginning about herself being asked the same questions over and over again, being a lingering symptom, and he's like, no, I have to ask you these questions. I'm like, womp womp, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Make this fun. But anyway, they do build her this giant fancy tank and are able to transport her to the other universe.
That was a terrible sensory deprivation tank. They should feel bad. You have to actually hold on to the water hose, like with your mouth, when you're trying to, like, pass out on whatever drugs they pump you up on. Like, they should at least be covering her nose as well. Like, and, like, the whole point of a sensory deprivation tank is to, like, relax you to the point where I've been scuba diving. There's nothing relaxing about holding on to air for your life.
And her body being upright in it. Because, listen, as I don't know what word it is, but as unrefined as Walter's sensory deprivation tank was, because it was unrefined.
The quick and dirty version.
Yeah.
She was floating on her back in it. And when you are floating on your back in water, you can relax.
Yes.
And lean into the psychotic drugs.
Psychotropic.
You know what I'm saying?
That last one's LSD, by the way. Yeah, no, and also you don't need to be submerged in it.
Seems like a really great way to accidentally, like, drown someone and write it off.
Some real Houdini vibes there.
Yeah, I did
Not
like
Houdini. What am I thinking of?
Oh no, you're thinking Houdini. He
I
had,
am.
Houdini had, the classic, like, it was actually a milk can filled with water.
Yeah.
And then there was a scene from, oh God, what movie was it? It was like a magic heist movie.
The Prestige!
The Prestige is one. And then there was another one where the actress actually drowned. Like, she was in the process of drowning and everyone thought she was just acting really great.
Oh, now you see me something.
Yeah, Now You See Me or whatever that movie's called. Yeah, like, wow, set safety. What is going on?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, my brain went so many places when you said set safety. If you want to hear about set safety, listeners, we've actually done an episode on The Crow.
Yes. It's a little movie called The Crow, which might actually...
We did an episode on it.
Which may actually be prescient in the year of our Lord 2021, post Alec Baldwin, etc.
etc. Yeah, we can't get bogged in that.
No,
we can't.
Anyway,
but
it's a bad sensory deprivation tank and it should feel bad.
Yes.
I think to be fair,
fancy.
I think the sensory deprivation tank does feel bad. I don't think it wants to be doing this to Olivia. I think the sensory deprivation tank is like, you seem like a real sweet girl. I don't know why they're making you go through this.
But luckily, 2 rounds in that we know of, and she's back. Our girl's back.
In a gift shop.
She breaks conditioning. And the best part is that 2 can lie in this game, Walternate.
Oh, yeah.
And she covers her butt.
I didn't go anywhere. I just saw black.
Yeah.
I just I'm like right after calling Ella on her birthday. My poor heart.
I know.
My poor heart. I'd live.
I'll live. I knew you wouldn't forget. And then I'm just sitting there like, you mean to tell me Folivia didn't call her niece?
Didn't I know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shaking everything.
Right.
See, but you see, I almost feel like real Olivia just covered faux Olivia's ass because Rachel would have called Peter like, is she doing okay? Mm-hmm. She didn't call on Ella's birthday and she's really disappointed and she's never done that before. Like, I'm worried about my sister.
I know. It's fine. I think we're up to one more things in theory.
Okay. Do you have one more thing?
My one more thing is, in the AU world, there are companies selling some insane quarantine amber insurance for banks that can no longer access safety deposit vaults because of this nonsense. Like, the insurance game in this world must be off the chain.
Yeah, no, it's got to be. I am with you 100% on that. I think my one more thing is how succinct these episodes were with keeping the through line of just like your reality and how it can change and how sometimes your reality is tenuous. And like these episodes were just really good at showing, depending on if you're Olivia or faux Olivia, like where you fall on the morality scale of that.
True.
And like I really enjoy that, like, faux Olivia isn't 100% here for taking the utmost advantage of Peter. Like, she struggles with that because she has a life with Frank that she will eventually go back to,
Yeah.
I know. She doesn't deserve Frank. We've already established this. Frank is the best virologist in the AU. And that's it. And that's just it. No, but like, I really like that the through line is just a very solid, retelling of what is going through each of their heads very succinctly.
Yes, and allowing the two different versions of each character to play off of each other, because, yes, there's Olivia and faux Olivia, but there's also Walter and Walternate. And to a lesser degree, we still get Broyles and Broyles.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, no, wait, sorry, I have one more things. My favorite thing
we're gonna share one more thing again, because see, I mentioned Broyles, and Broyles is my one more thing.
Well, it's a specific thing that Broyles does, so why don't you go first, since...
Now I want to know if your thing is my thing.
Oh, no. So
Okay, go.
My thing is when Broyles stands up for the what was her name, Patricia?
Yes. When he goes, excuse me, when Walter asks her, what if you just gave a caress, a tickle?
No, not even that. No. Mine is before.
Is it when Olivia is like, oh, can we trust her? Because faux Olivia is trying to not trigger this guy to wake up again, and the cutting look he throws for Olivia of, I have known Patricia for years, she is an upstanding woman, and I'm just like, oh, Olivia, you overstepped
it.
Wait, is that it? Was that the moment, Joy?
Yes, that was the moment.
Nice.
It was specifically the moment where he was like, her character is beyond rebuke. I will talk to her myself.
Yes.
And sure enough, she does come in and she's just like, I mean, it's an unbelievable scenario, but like,
yep.
We live in unbelievable times. You know what I mean? And like Broyles is like 1,000% correct about her character. And just don't mess with Broyles' friends.
She's wife of a senator. She's got this. Like,
she's got this. Broyles is a real MVP just throughout this show. Broyles and, well, now, you know what? I'm kind of on Team Scarly, too. I'm not upset about Scarly.
No, I think Scarly, look, I want to believe that it's going to come down to, like, Henry and Scarly helping Olivia get back into our universe. I want to believe. I want it.
I'm just going to very carefully do nothing with my face.
In the very least, Scarly is going to know it's not Olivia, and then he's going to personally make it personal about.
He's going to personalize the personal. stuff he's going through.
It's like this little
Fool
game
me once,
where
shame on you. Fool me twice.
Like,
I'm going to kill you this time because this is. Who's going to notice first? How dare you?
Who's going to notice first? Scarly in the AU or Nina in the actual universe? Ooh, you know, it's like,
ooh, that's a good one. Oh no. Oh no. Well, here's the thing. Scarly was actually fooled by Olivia, right? So I feel like he's on edge. You know, Nina has not been fooled by faux Olivia to her knowledge. It's not that she actually ran into the alternate universe and there was two of everyone running around. I think Scarly is going to be on alert, and because of that, I'm gonna say Scarly's gonna be the first one to get it. I think Nina's going to have her suspicions, but I think Scarly's going to be the first one to act.
You know who's going to be the last one to act?
Peter! Because Peter's going to stand there like a dumb and being like, no, but this is Olivia. Trust me, I've slept with her. And they're going to be like, oh, you slept with her. That's how you know Peter.
And then
That's not how it works, Peter.
And then Link and him are going to do a frickin' fist bump, and I'm going to puke all over my living room.
Oh God, not that. Anything but a fist bump.
Just gently move her to the left of the rug, and you're good. It's like moving a cat when you hear it. Like, ooh, and you're like, left of the rug.
On the wood floor. It's easier to clean. Wood floor, go.
God. Oh my God. Tile would be preferred, but if it's got to be anywhere, the wood floor. And on
that note, I think we've done it.
That was a really good note to end on.
Yeah, we might as well. Because I mean, we are. So now we've set up that now faux Olivia's purpose was to start Peter on this MacGuffin treasure hunt for all the pieces of the device, this machine that he's supposed to power with his body, on this side of the universe. So the MacGuffin treasure hunt has started. Let's all hack up hairballs like cats in disgust and call it a night.
Yep. All right. With that, listeners, we would love to hear from you. Please check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, if you could be best friends with a monster, what kind of monster would it be? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/bachpod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.